All right, 7 o'clock, and we have quite a number of live streamers watching tonight, so I think it's about time we all get started. And of course, I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are on Wadawurrung land and pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. Now, for tonight, we're having a little quirky bit of an adventure set in Call of Cthulhu. This is a role-playing game. For those of you who aren't familiar with role-playing games, it's where our actors, or if you're playing this in your living room, you lot, will be exploring mystery or investigating, and you'll have skills and abilities dependent on who your character is. You'll roll the dice, and if you succeeded in looking for your clue, whatever you're doing. If you fail, you haven't particularly got that clue. Call of Cthulhu is a horror game, though tonight we're sitting more in the hammer horror direction than anything particularly gory. And we're doing the story Spectral Schemes, the history of the Ballarat Ghost, which is adapted from Pat Clay's The Hammersmith Haunting, who is with us tonight. Yay! So, how have I adapted this? Hammersmith in the UK had a panic of people going out dressed as ghosts at night, which, particularly from those people from poor and rural parts of England, found particularly quite terrifying, tying into the folklore. And it culminated in an instance where a man by the name of Francis Smith shot a young bricklayer coming home covered in white brick dust, thinking he was a ghost. Something that set a legal precedent that was still in play into the 1980s. That is, claiming that you were misinformed or had a supernatural belief isn't an excuse to go shooting people. We had a similar panic here at Ballarat. And some of the instances become, as the panic rose, quite absurd, like, for instance, in this very town hall, an act being passed that a bounty of £5 be offered to anyone who successfully captures a person impersonating a ghost in the city limits. Now, when you think about young men going at night thinking they're going to get rich catching someone in a ghost costume, you think about people in ghost costumes out there wagging their nose at the wall. It's not something that ended well. Bendigo had a similar dispute, and it culminated in the Bain Street ghost incident where 4 youths waited with shotguns for the Bain Street ghost and opened fire, and the ghost retaliated with a pair of revolvers. Woman was unfortunately injured, not seriously, but she was injured, grazed, as a bullet went through a passing wall and hurt her in her home in Bendigo. So something ended up quite dire. So tonight what we're doing is a story of historical fiction. We are rooting it in the newspaper articles, the maps, the places, the locations of Ballarat in the 1890s. We have historical personages from Ballarat in the 1890s. Yet our story also, particularly the culmination of it, will be historical fiction. I'll let you decide, and of course come up and talk to me afterwards about which bits were real and which bits weren't, but I hope you can tell. And with that, I will hand it over to our talented cast of actors.
Thank you very much, David. Good evening, everybody. I am going to be your lore keeper this evening, which means I am running this game for these 4 wonderful players and characters that we have at the table. We're going to jump right in. You are all at the Old Colonist Club on Lydiard Street in town, a bar usually bustling with old miners and workers unwinding after a long day. Of late, however, the populace of Ballarat have preferred to stay home of an evening. Only a handful of gruff men drink quietly in the club, all looking very tired, as though they were wanting for a good night's rest. Players, please introduce yourselves for our audience, starting with Ms. Baldwin.
My name is Clara Baldwin, and in the past 6 months, I have been travelling extensively across Australia, performing my solo magic act while exposing spiritualist frauds, debunking scams, focusing particularly on small towns where such deceptions are rampant. And between performances, I've also been writing my new memoir titled How to Run Cults and Hypnotise People. It is largely drawn from our shared experience last year, and my notable articles include Ghosts of Warren Heap, A Ghostly Tale of Denial, probably my own, and Stephenites, Masters of the Peppers Ghost Illusion.
Thank you very much, Ms. Baldwin. Mr. Curtis, could you please introduce yourself this evening?
Of course, no productions. I'm, of course, Mr. James Curtis, a successful businessman from England. I have become something of an expert in matters of spiritualism and the occult here in Ballarat since my dear sweet Penny died. And in the last several months, I have redoubled my efforts to find unimpeachable proof of the
and also to expose charlatans who would bring disrepute to the spirit.
Outstanding, thank you, sir. Please now, Dr. Guerin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Ballarat Ghost. Since the concerning events of the Stephenite affair, which Clara has briefly touched upon, some months ago I've remained in Ballarat and I've been working as a doctor at the St. John of God Hospital. I lecture in the fields of medicine at the university. My colleagues and I have started to notice a rather, well, alarming increase in our intake of patients who have been suffering grievous wounds as a result of these supposed ghost attacks. And also an increasing intake of those suffering from insomnia, night terrors and sweats and the such like. Most of these can be remedied with simple benzodiazepine. Others, the more serious cases, require, well, a good dose of laudanum. But none the least, it raises questions. Questions that I'm quite afraid may not have simple answers.
Oh.
Thank you very much, Dr. Guerin. And finally, Detective Montague.
Evening all. I'm Detective Thomas Montague of the Ballarat Police. Since the Stephenite affair, I have been working with the Ballarat Police and dealing with this latest craze striking the town of ghost hoaxing. This has kept myself and the rest of the force rather busy as we've been trying to catch and arrest the offenders and stop the vigilante groups that have been hurtling around town causing chaos. The current situation has me rather concerned because something in my gut tells me that this is just not your ordinary run-of-the-mill case. Something about the unnatural fog, the strange dreams that everybody's having, or it could be the fact that there's a member of Chaosium sat in the audience smiling at us. Something tells me that this is not just our regular case.
Thank you very much, Detective. Now, before we continue with the adventure, as David mentioned, we all have statistics of how your character is good at things, what your expertise is in. One of the statistics, however, is called luck. And this is not a given statistic based on your character, it is one that we roll at the table all together, which is quite appropriate for a statistic like luck. I would like you all to roll 3 6-sided dice, or simply 1 3 times. And then the total of those 3 dice you must then times by 5, and that is your luck statistic for the evening. So I'll give you a moment to do that.
Times by 5, you say?
The total of the 3 dice times by 5. Tabletop RPGs are maths, folks. That's how it works. They're maths, and they make maths fun. That's what we keep telling ourselves anyway.
Just make a little shot at the back.
Now, as you are doing...
Pardon, Lordkeeper, was it 3 dice?
3 dice?
3 dice.
Times by 5.
Oh, gee.
How did you go? Are you...
Quite terribly.
Terribly outstanding.
So,
not bad.
Rolls are a 2, a 1, and a 3. Which altogether makes 6 times by 5 is 30.
Now, there's a few different ways we can use luck. I won't explain it now. We'll explain it as we get to it over the game. How did you go with your luck?
Oh, I'm quite lucky.
Oh,
Although
excellent.
I don't believe in luck. 65.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Significantly better.
45.
Not bad.
50.
50. What was your total in the end?
30.
Great! Outstanding! Wonderful.
Good luck.
Excellent.
Thanks, I'll need it. Not that I've got it.
Now, you have all been asked to come to the Old Colonists Club this evening by your mutual colleague, Father John Collins of St. Patrick's Cathedral, who sent you a letter some weeks ago. Mr. Curtis, would you mind reading the letter for us? I believe there's a copy of it. Well, you can use that one. Here, I'll give you that one for you too.
Thank you.
The letter reads thusly: Dear friends, I write to you with incredible news. As you may be aware, the foundations of Patrick's Cathedral are being renovated, and in the rubble of the building site I discovered, of all things, a medieval chest with a letter in it. It defies belief, but it appears the chest and its history are actually connected to the Knights Templar. If the contents of the letter and chest are genuine, it might completely transform our understanding of medical history. And yet, there is another mystery. How did such a chest become entombed within the foundation of St. Patrick's Cathedral, of all places? There have been some unusual relics, such as the rather grisly example of the 16th century anthropodermic bibliopedgy that you recovered from those ghastly Stephenites last year.
I'll pause you there for a moment. That is referring to the book bound in human skin, which the cult leader Stevens used in an attempt to summon some horrible force on Mount Warren Heap some months ago.
An event I do not wish to recollect, if you mind, Lord Keeper, thank you. But such a medieval object is truly a remarkable discovery.
Well done for pronouncing it as well.
Yes.
That was very impressive.
Thank you.
You're well learned.
I'm something of a writer. You're all exceptionally quick, some of us more than others. Witted and learned investigators, and I would value your insight as to the object's veracity before I go public with the discovery. If this was to be a hoax, it would be of enormous personal embarrassment for myself and the cathedral. I do not wish to elaborate on the contents further until you can assist me in ascertaining whether the object is a fake. Could you meet me at the Old Colonists Club on Thursday, the 23rd of May at 7 p.m. sharp, and I'll explain all and allow you to directly examine the object. Your friend and fellow seeker of knowledge, Father John Collins.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, 7 p.m. has come and gone, and Collins, who is always a very punctual man, is nowhere to be seen. This is concerning. You all know that his office is in St. Patrick's Cathedral, west along Sturt Street. This late at night, however, he's more likely to be in his home in the Ballarat East over the Yarrawee River. Please discuss for a moment what you would like to do.
If there's one thing I know about Father John Collins, it's that he's always very punctual.
He is.
Maybe we should go out and see him.
It's not like him to not show up.
Maybe we should go and try and find him in his home in Ballarat East, just across the Yarrawee.
That sounds very much like a point of plot worth pursuing.
Yes.
All right.
Outstanding.
Let's.
So you head outside the Ballarat Old Colonist Club, and you hail down a cab. And a closed vehicle, driven by a stocky, bearded man, welcomes you aboard. And as he approaches you, you see he, in fact, recognises you, Detective. Oh, evening, Detective. You caught that ghost from the papers yet? £5, not a bad bit of pay.
No, and I'd very much recommend that no members of the public go looking for him either. This is a matter for the police. Thank you.
Sure, of
and
course,
we shall catch you in due course.
Of course, I would never doubt the brave police of the Ballarat city. Where would you like to go anyway?
Ballarat East, and I give the address.
Very good. Well, climb on in then. Let's be off. So you all enter the cab, and I would like to place this in your hands, sir.
Thank you.
And you would place this fine little thing just next to the Old Colonist Club, which is that brown building there.
That brown building there?
Yes.
Going
and
this
you
way?
are going to trundle down that way. Just move it just a little bit more forward. Outstanding. Just next to that bridge.
Yes.
There.
This bearded fellow can't drive.
No. I hear he's been
It's
drinking.
the horses in the fog.
Yes, if
As
only
you-
there were drink driving laws in the 1890s.
No, furious riding was a
Yes.
crime. As you board the cab, the fog swirls heavily around your feet. It feels oily, almost as though it leaves a residue upon your skin, reaching over your clothing with spectral fingers. This fog has been plaguing Ballarat for weeks, limiting visibility at night, providing cover for those playing the ghost, and even impeding ease of sleep. And lately, even during the daytime, the fog never fully clears. The coach makes its way down Lydiard Street and then follows Sturt Street on the way to your destination. As the fog grasps at the coach wheels, you all feel a sense of dread and unease, and cannot help but wonder what ill spirits or cruel pranksters hide in the mist. Take it away, Bruce.
A cottage in East Ballarat for residents I boast. It's not the kind of place you'd think would be haunted by ghosts. But there is one dreadful sight reclining there all day, in the shape of a figure tall and slight, of a young man dressed in grey.
This is going to be fun.
He takes his stand before your door, and then will gently raise his eyes aloft to the upper floor, and therefore ours will gaze, delighted with his little game, then swiftly glide away, and serve some other place the same, that young man dressed in grey. on the houses where he lay. Ladies, if you do your hair, don't stand by the window, pray, for fear of meeting the hideous stare of the young man dressed in grey.
Thank you very much. And I would like to point out that as we've been listening to this beautiful music, we've put some little minis for each of our characters on the table, which I believe were designed for us by our sponsors at Good Games Ballarat. Is that correct, David? Oh, there they are, over that side, so thank you very much for that. Come have a closer look later if you're having an interval later with us. Now, even through the fog, you can still vaguely make out Bridge Street ahead. Visibility is low as you approach the crossing at the Yarrowee River Canal. Water laps at the foundations of the Ballarat Bridge, the result of recent flooding. The fog spills ominously over the doors of the cab, shifting from a glaring white to a soft, eerie blue. The lamplighters that usually are out illuminating gas lamps are conspicuously absent, and gloom reigns as the horses cross the river. Presently, the horses whinny and rear, rocking the carriage off balance. "Now calm yourselves! Lord, protect me!" you hear from above. The driver wrestles with the reins, but is thrown heavily to the ground with a thud as the vehicle jerks to a stop in the gutter of the bridge.
Oh, what was that?
You can hear it. Oh, ow.
Are you all right?
I think so. Starts to clamber up.
Yeah.
Step out of the carriage.
Disembark the carriage,
See about
and the
driving,
coach.
okay?
The coach driver is slowly getting himself to his feet. He seems very out of sorts, and he seems frightened.
Are you okay, my dear fellow?
I think so.
Are you hurt at all? Injured?
Yeah, my shoulder. I don't know if I can keep riding the coach. When I got into the horses, I saw someone walk in front of the coach, and they got very frightened. And he seems like there's something he doesn't want to say.
Spit it out, man!
Oh, make a fast talk or a charm roll for me, please. First roll of the game.
Look, first roll of the game, I burnt the lucky roll. And neither of those are skills I possess.
Now, almost every roll is a D100, which is two 10-sided die, and unlike most role-playing games, you are trying to get underneath what your skill is. So if your fast talk skill is, for example, 40, you want to roll less than 40 on the 100 die.
Indeed, my fast talk skill happens to be 5, not having that skill, and I rolled a 30.
You can roll charm if you have charm.
I do not.
Outstanding. He doesn't seem to respond to you at all. He seems quite just doesn't respond to you. Of course.
Calm yourself, dear fellow doctor. May you
Yes.
have a look at his shoulder?
Of course. I'm just going to test range of motion. Would you raise your arms and...
Yes.
Oh, pain. Okay.
Make a first aid roll.
Oh, that's not good.
While the doctor is tending to you, sir, was there anything else that you saw?
Well, I thought I saw someone on the road, but
Any further description? Height, build, transparency?
where it... Make a... You could also do a charm or a fast talk.
Yep, cool, thank you.
Now, if ever I ask you to use a skill and you would like to use a different skill, you can ask me, but you must make your case.
So, for the first aid, I didn't pass the roll, but can I try and... Can I push the
You
roll?
push the roll. You certainly may. So to push a roll, you simply re-roll the dice. You must explain how you're pushing the roll.
Yes.
And if you fail, the consequences will be more severe than if you failed the first time.
I'd like to get the constable's help.
Detective.
The detective's
can
help. Pardon me. It's been 6 months. I'd like to get the detective's help in applying first aid. We'll try and sort of strap a sling to the arm. And
Certainly.
try and push the roll
Make your
that
roll.
way.
How did you go with yours?
Yes, that was a regular success.
Well, I feel like I've gone balmy. I could have sworn I saw a woman dressed all in white appear, and she looked right at me, like right through my soul, and then she just disappeared, and the horses went wild. I definitely can't ride. Could you just take me to a... Look, there's the Queen Hotel near here. I'd just come in here and I'd have a pint and a drink, maybe a pie, and just Save it.
I wouldn't recommend that.
Oh,
But
I'm not sure I want to take your medical advice, Doctor, to be perfectly honest with you. Look, just get me to the Queen. It's just down the road, just down there. Right? You can see the lights in the window just down the road.
All right, I offer my arm for him to... perhaps you'd like to take Mr. Curtis's arm.
I might walk myself if it's all the same to you.
Before we leave,
Certainly.
may I investigate the front of the carriage to see if there's any evidence of persons, footprints?
No, so you won't even need to roll. So it's cobbled
Okay.
street, so you wouldn't be able to see footprints anyway. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. The horses are a bit spooked, but they seem to be calming themselves down.
Yeah.
And you'd think they could be quite safely left here on the side of the bridge street while you go to the pub that's just across the road.
Would this not be causing a blockage of a public highway? Should we not take them to the Queen's Hotel as well?
You certainly may,
Yes.
if you want to try to hop on top and drive them.
I was thinking just leading them.
That works too.
We'll unhitch the horses.
Very well. You can take them.
Yes,
with you,
we'll leave
so-
the horses in the coach and
Very
park it
good.
up. Don't want any parking fines.
So you begin to head down the way with the coach in tow towards the British Queen Hotel. Could you just take your minis and move them just a little bit further forward in front of that building just down there, please? Thank you very much. As you begin to approach, suddenly you hear footsteps echoing around you through the fog. Someone is coming, definitely a group of someones. Please make a spot hidden roll. Now, because of the fog, all spot hidden rolls will be rolled with a penalty die, which means you re-roll the 10s and you take the worst.
We roll the 10s.
And take the worst.
They were both terrible anyway.
31. Terrible.
May I use some luck?
You certainly may.
Thank you.
So to use your luck points in this manner, you can say you needed a 60 and you rolled a 65. You can spend permanently 5 points of luck to reach 60, which makes it a success. You could spend all of your luck in one go if you like. However, then you are less lucky than you were before, and bad things might happen.
I shall use 3 of my luck because I rolled a 68 and a 58.
Outstanding.
So my spot hidden is 65. So using
Lovely.
3, I shall succeed. Where I
Excellent.
think everybody else has failed, have they
Now
not?
you hear these footsteps echoing around you ominously through the dark fog. However, with your trained detective senses, you can tell that there is about 8 people.
There are about 8 people approaching us.
Some of them seem to be armed,
They appear to be
and
armed.
they're coming from just up the street that way. If you are very quick about it, more difficult because of the coach that you have with you, you might be able to hide from these people as they approach, or you can stand your ground.
Why should we be hiding?
I
Very well.
agree.
Yes.
Why
Hiding
should
from
we hide?
what? What are you talking about?
Those 8 people who are armed who are coming from that direction.
Suddenly you hear from that direction a blast of a shotgun, and you hear in an old woman's voice, "Stop right there, you blasted ghosts, or I'll shoot you back to whatever hell you came from!"
We're not ghosts! We're not ghosts!
That's just what a ghost would say!
This
Calm
is
down.
Detective Thomas
down,
Montague
Mary.
of the Ballarat Police. Lay down your arms. You're assaulting members of the public and a police officer.
Police? Calm down, Mary. The hunters approach and they stand down. Clearly they can recognize that from your response. You are not ghosts.
And we're not incorporeal.
No. An old lady steps forward. She's a stout older woman, and she is flanked by a tall, grizzled older man with half dozen young fellows following in tow. The woman steps forward and out of the swirling mist. The tall man follows, and the man is known to you, Detective. This is a fellow by the name of Charles Horman you've had in the station recently.
Yes.
As Mary approaches
Is
and comes closer
Mary
to
the
you.
old lady?
Mary's the old lady,
Yes,
yes.
okay.
I
Do I
should,
know her?
No, you do not. You do not know Mary. That I will
Alright.
say. She's like, what are you all hanging around here for then?
We are currently going to go and see a friend. And what is your business here, armed as you are?
Well, we, in fact, are protecting our neighbours and friends from these horrible spectres.
The only thing you're doing is shooting at your neighbours and friends.
Shooting at
Yes.
neighbours. It was a warning shot. It was over the top.
Technically, that is assault, madam. Can I have your name?
My name is Mary Barrel, and I am a servant of the people. I'm a healer. I'm an herbalist, and I I don't have to hear any of this from you, young man.
Also,
And
a
I am a
terrible
police.
shot.
Yes, I'm a police detective, and you have assaulted members of the public.
Well, you shouldn't be hiding around in the...
You were in the middle of the street with a coach, madam.
Listen to me.
You will respond.
You listen to me, young man. A ghost's been lurking around these streets at night. The Ballarat Ghost himself has attacked a dozen folk in the last week, and maybe, you know, they frightened that poor priest to death, and you police haven't done a darn thing about it.
Wait, priest?
At this point, Mr. Hormans actually steps forward and sort of puts out a hand for Mary. Like, it was a fellow at the Cathedral in town. We found him in his office last night.
Not
He seemed
Father
frightened.
Collins?
I don't know his name. Don't know his name at all. Look, but the morgue in town was full apparently, so we brought him to the pub down the road there for safekeeping. You can ask Wilson behind the bar
He's
if
dead.
you like. Well, yeah, dead people usually are dead, detective. I thought he was a detective.
So did he have his book with him by any chance?
Well, he was in an office full of books.
On his person, perhaps?
I don't think so. Look, we brought him to the pub. We didn't see the ghost ourselves, but we thought he was done that way. Look, you can go down there. He's just down there, but I recommend you don't get in our way. Now, you, sir,
And I would recommend that you do not take the law into your own hands and leave this as a matter of the Ballarat Police. And you, Madam Barrel, can...
Why?
Yes. Avail yourself of the Ballarat Police Station tomorrow morning.
Oh, will I just?
Yes.
Oh, well, you've got any people free, you can send someone to find me if you like.
We're rather busy at the moment, as you see, with this ghost.
Yeah,
Yes.
very busy in the central city, protecting the city folk, but us
Perhaps
out here in the
we
Ballarat
should-
East, no one's looking
we
after
should-
us,
We
I
should
tell you.
say good night to Madam Barrel.
Yes.
Good night,
Tomorrow
Madam.
morning, ma'am.
Mr.
And
Lorcan,
very
you
well.
quickly would one of the leading occult figures in Ballarat perhaps be familiar with this herbalist, Mrs. Barrel?
Make a knowledge check, just a basic, that would be intelligence check. So that would be top right of your stats there.
Easy success. That's a 38 on the dice.
Outstanding. So she said the truth. Mary Barrel is a pretty well-known, she's a cunning woman, which is someone who is a healer, a herbalist. They often assist with births, with young women who can't afford to or don't trust going to doctors. There's a lot of nonsense in this kind of thing. There's a lot of go to the train station and bury a nail 3 feet deep and walk around in a circle, what have you. But also there is some legitimate knowledge. They do know some basic things and they will help people. She's well respected. Was that all? Would you like to head to the hotel or anything else here?
That's fine.
Outstanding. Now they did mention, as I say, a fellow by the name of Wilson who runs the bar at the Queen Hotel. As you leave, Mr. Horman says to you, just one more piece of advice. Stay out of the fog. Strange things happen in the fog. Look after yourself, look out for the people around you, and detective, you let us look after the Ballarat East. You and your ilk can look after the town folk just fine.
I would advise against it, but I do not have the manpower to stop you.
Yes, you don't seem to most of the time. Like I told you the other day, detective, if there's people being ghosts around here and we shoot at them, if it was a ghost, well, no harm done.
Yes.
And if it was some fool playing the ghost, then as far as I'm concerned, no harm done. You have a good night now.
My book is murder, but anyway, good night.
They head off to continue their patrol. If you could move, oh, you're already in front of it, outstanding. The glowing lights on the 2-story building draw you in through the fog. You approach along the bank of the Yarrawee, and a creaking sign becomes visible, carved with a crude replica of the Eureka flag. If you head inside the inn, you find it is full of people, but it is quiet. The locals hang over their drinks in dour silence. A man at the bar looks up, and then away in disgust, at the party of upperclassmen with a police officer in tow. No others seem to react to you except for the barman, presumably Mr. James Wilson. He nods politely at you, and with very great care, places a bowl of stew in front of a gaunt-looking woman by the back wall. You notice behind this woman there is a solid door with a heavy lock. As you go to speak with Wilson, he suddenly seems distracted. Excuse me just a moment. Hey, get out of here! Please make a listen check as Mr. Wilson heads towards the door that you've just entered through and breezes past you.
Do I have listen? Yes. Oh.
That is an extreme success for me with an 8.
Outstanding.
And it's same with me with a 2.
Excellent.
99, which is an extreme
Extreme
fail.
You can't hear anything that's about to happen. Too much noise happening in this very quiet bar.
There's too much noise!
Be quiet.
Sorry.
Yes.
Quiet!
Miss Baldwin?
Now, as he breezes past you, see he's gone to the door because there is a fellow that seems to be in his mid-60s, very unwell looking, very, very scruffy looking fellow. He seems to be quite down in his luck. He has an old grey coat with little bone buttons on it, and he seems perhaps drunk or otherwise out of sorts. And Mr. Wilson, he goes there and he blocks the door with a broom that he's grabbed on his way. And the old man says, she got me get the bones. That I did. She got me get the bones. I did. She got me get the bones. I get a drink. I get a drink. Wilson, you can get a drink when you pay your bill, Alf. Now go home. Go on, get out of here. To cherish hope no more. That's what he said. It says cherish. Do not cherish hope. It's just the bones. You cherish the bones. No hope, just the bones. Yes. And he turns away without a fight and wanders down the street.
Any idea what that was, Dr. Guerin?
Psychosis? I'm not sure.
Perhaps we could ask Wilson, who is standing in front of us.
Yes, so Mr. Wilson turns around. I'm very sorry about that. He's just not really well. I understand.
He was talking about bones.
He's always been obsessed with bones, Mr. Dunning. He used to carve things out of them, little trinkets, but over time he just... Well, he became more... I'm not sure. The last few weeks have been hard on him. He's been poor for a long time, and... Well, I'm not sure if you'd understand, but poverty's hard on folks out here in the Ballarat East.
You're right, we wouldn't understand at all. Question. Do you have a body here of Father John Collins by any chance?
Oh. And he quite crestfallen for a moment. Yes. Terrible that. It was Father Collins, yes. He's a good man, he was. Mary and her group brought him in last night. A coroner's just yet to come and perform the autopsy. Now, you would know that in this time it is very common for, if the morgue is full, that bodies will be taken to a local pub or hotel, kept in a back room, in a cool space on the table, and in some cases the autopsies will even be performed there, in these hotels. You go back. I'm surprised to see you actually here. Detective, I would have thought if a policeman was coming, he'd come with a coroner.
Oh, I have a doctor with me.
Oh.
But, yes, we were coming to find, Father Collins. He sent for us. Unfortunately, we just found out that, he's dead.
No wounds on him at all. It's quite strange.
Well, would you allow us through to examine the body?
Yes.
Without a coroner here, is this official business?
Yes, I can vouch for this.
I'll have you make an interpersonal roll, but you'll get a bonus die.
What?
So interpersonal, that means you can use your fast talk, your charm. You can use persuade, but persuade is a skill that assumes you spend a bit of time having a conversation with somebody.
No.
No?
No.
May I try and persuade
You
him?
certainly may.
I'll
Look, Detective, I understand you're a member of the police force, but without a coroner or a medical professional here...
Well, I myself am a medical professional.
Very well, go ahead, and with a bonus die.
That is a 52 bonus die for the tens.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 6.
Excellent.
Oh, sorry, no, a 2. I re-rolled the other one
By the way,
accidentally.
still fantastic.
Well, 52 that's a 2. That's an extreme success.
Okay, listen, look, the coroner hasn't come, and the poor father is... I'll be rude, but he's beginning to smell. So if you wish to inspect the body, be my guest. Please, be
We'll
careful.
only be quick.
And he
Thank
passes you a key to the back door. As you head to the back of the bar, and you enter through the heavy door, the air of death and decay assaults your senses. Even in the frigid weather, decomposition has begun in earnest. Everybody please make a sanity roll.
Oh, good.
So when you come across something rather shocking or uncomfortable, you make a sanity roll. You have a sanity statistic. Same thing, you want to roll underneath that. If you fail, you can take sanity damage, which means that statistic drops.
I shall take sanity damage.
Excellent. You shall take 1d6 of sanity damage,
good.
please.
I've succeeded.
Only 2? Yep, so you only take 1 point of sanity damage. Sometimes you will just go insane slightly, no matter how good you are at suppressing your emotions.
Even if it is quite a critical success?
You take 1 point.
1 point.
How did you go?
Also a success.
1 point of sanity damage. Now, you see the body on the table. I assume you want to do an initial examination, just looking at the body. So you don't need to make a roll for this, it's quite simple. The skin has a ghostly pallor. Only the whites of his eyes are visible, as though his eyes have rolled into the back of his head. The stomach cavity seems to be distended, as though it's filled with gas. Please make a medicine roll. Biology or forensics would also be just fine. Anybody's welcome to do this.
I'll do a medicine roll.
I shall do forensics.
Very good.
That's a 99, which is
So,
an
you,
extreme fail.
Dr. Guerin, you're looking at this body and you just don't understand. I mean, you should be breathing. There's nothing wrong with him. No injuries.
All the gas in his belly, I don't know. Wait, no, it's his
fine.
lungs. Why are his lungs in his
Stomach,
in his
very
stomach?
strange.
Oh.
Doctor, I did say we had a medical professional with us. Yeah. He's not followed us, has he?
How was your forensics roll?
Yes, it was just a pass. I got a 50, and I required a 50.
With just a pass.
I can't work out why he's
You know, Detective, that this amount of gas distension in the body is inconsistent with the time of death given. This is something you would see from a cadaver of 3 or 4 days or so. However, he died last night, apparently. Please make a spot hidden, anybody.
Absolutely.
Anybody can make a spot hidden now.
May we all?
Yes, all of you.
I don't think Mr. Curtis will, because Mr. Curtis will pull out his Ouija board and will be attempting to have a conversation.
Make a not spiritualism. It's the other one. Not occult. Make an occult roll, please. Thank you. I had a completely different tabletop RPG in my head for a moment.
Oh, look at that! This is an incredible success.
Yes?
29.
Excellent. You move it around. You think you have no, not quite. His spirit seems to not be in the space today. How did you go with your forensics or your spot hidden? No, sorry, not your spirits. Did anybody make their spot hidden roll?
I had an extreme success.
Excellent. You notice there's a very small, from the distension of his stomach, in his waistcoat pocket, there's a small bulge there, and if you reach in, you pull out a heavy iron key.
Oh.
Ah,
You don't know what it's for. Possibly something to do with the cathedral. It's where he works. But you can keep it if you like.
I shall keep this. We can return it to the coroner on the morrow, should it be of importance, but
Very
it could
good.
be of importance to our investigation this evening.
Indeed.
Yes.
Medieval chests are often opened with keys, is my thinking.
Many locks are opened by keys as well.
Not just the medieval ones.
Now,
You should sit down.
I asked this.
He's got so much gas.
I asked this in
I don't know why
earnest.
he's not breathing.
Would you like to perform an autopsy?
I'd like to try and perform an autopsy.
Please make another medicine check.
Oh dear me, here we go.
You're making the conversation with Father Collins' spirit so much more difficult by doing that.
I'm going to take a step back, just in case of shrapnel.
I'm also going to take a step back.
Very well. It's a fairly small room, but you can take a
Yes.
step back.
Dr. Guerin's going to take out her medical bag and unfill an array of medical implements and scalpels.
So as you have proper medical instrumentation, you can have a bonus die on this one.
Okay, that is a 26,
Excellent. So you...
which is a hard success.
Beautiful. With practiced care, you've shaken off the slight confusion as you walked into the room,
Yeah,
and you take out your scalpel.
Oh, you found his lungs. Well done.
Outstanding. And you,
They're right where they should be.
Well, if he wasn't dead before, he's dead now.
with great dexterity, you place the blade upon the sternum and you slice down and you open the chest cavity to reveal the organs, and a stench fills the room. Suddenly, though, as you do so, you hear a sss, and a miasma of thick white gas spews forth from the body, enveloping all of you. Just like the fog outside, you lose grip on the world around you and experience a dreadful shared vision. You see a beautiful young woman in an ancient, flowing, floating white dress. She walks through a ruined Ottoman city wearing a crown of glittering metal, composition unfamiliar to you. It glows and glints, gold and silver and blue and red, seemingly all colours all at once. The cosmos wheels above your heads, purple nebulas, green galaxies dazzle you as the woman beckons you towards a great throne on which she now sits. Everybody please make a power check. So power is one of your base statistics at the top of the page there.
Oh, critical success.
Excellent.
I shall use luck, because I believe I should probably want to succeed in this.
Hard success.
A hard success?
Hard success.
You've
And a
all succeeded. You are drawn to bow to her, to subjugate yourselves, but you shake free. All of you shake free, and you close your eyes, and the vision retreats, and the room returns. The gas dissipates, and you all come to upon the floor. As you stand and look about, you notice the body on the table in the center of the room has become withered and desiccated, like some mummy from an adventure novel. Nothing more can be cleaned from this. Please make a sanity check.
Oh, good.
And then I see you have your hand up.
Well,
Baldwin.
phosphorus will do that to you.
Oh, yes.
Yes, no, critical success on that one.
Mrs. Baldwin, we had a vision. It's not phosphorus. How many times must we have this conversation?
I would like to look for a Pepper's ghost illusion, please.
Go
That's
ahead, make your spot hidden.
Spot
You
Yes.
failed.
Hard success.
Hard success.
Hard success.
So you also succeeded the sanity check, no damage at all. Just 1d3 further sanity damage for you there.
1.
Excellent. Now, how did you go
Oh
with
yes,
your
yes,
spot hidden?
I succeeded the spot hidden, and I have found out.
Nothing out of the ordinary
There's
beyond the
nothing out of the
desiccated body.
ordinary.
You look around,
They
you look
must
under the
have
table.
hidden.
You look very thoroughly. You look under the table, you look under the chairs, you look in every corner of the room. You even look very carefully inside the open cavity
Yes.
of this desiccated corpse. Nothing that would have
Yes.
possibly released any sort of white phosphorus.
While we were on the floor, they have taken that object away that would have released the phosphorus. I'm certain of
May I
it.
check a watch and see how much time has passed as
Yes.
we've been unconscious?
Only a few minutes. Only a few minutes.
Yes.
So did you all see that as well?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Beautiful woman with the crown.
Rather ominous throne.
Yes. Very ominous throne.
The Stephenites thing again, all over again.
Suddenly the door is wrenched open, and Mr. Wilson is there in the door, shocked, and he looks in and he sees the father. Oh, what?
Mr. Wilson, you probably want to step outside.
Oh, yeah. Oh, are you all right? You seem quite shocked.
Yes,
course,
you
what?
suddenly appeared in the doorway.
What happened to the father?
We were performing an autopsy.
You tell us, are there any secret entrances to the building?
It's a pub! There's a front door and a back door and an upstairs and a downstairs. I don't know what the hell's going on here, you lot. I've seen some strange things in my time living here in Ballarat.
Mind your language in front of the lady, sir.
I think the circumstances allow for a little bit of profanity, sir. Goodness, maybe it's better. Do you need a drink, maybe?
I don't drink on the job.
I might.
You're a bartender, of course you do.
Well,
Yes.
look,
Doctor, do you think there's anything more that we can glean from this body?
I think the autopsy is complete.
I'll say. Gosh. Well, at least it's not going to keep stinking the place up, I suppose.
Yes, I shall ensure the coroner comes tomorrow and I shall put in a report myself.
Please do that. Gosh.
Perhaps detective to the scene where he was found.
Ah, yes.
Yes, or do we
That's
want
a
to
good idea.
investigate his house first? So we're in the Ballarat East and he lives here, and then rather than traipsing all the way across town and then back again.
Saves us
Look,
walking
he
through
was.
that eerie fog.
Yes.
Nothing else.
Well, we could just use the coach again.
The coach driver is sitting in the next room. You could go and have a chat to him if you like. He's sat down to have a drink, as he said he would. Mr. Wilson does sort of seem like, look, if you're going to have a drink, that's all fine and well, but maybe it's better you respectfully go elsewhere. I have to explain this to all of my patrons. Gosh. So if you come
Charming
out
pub.
into the bar again, the driver's sitting there. He's quite happily, he's nursing his arm, but he's quite happily eating a pie. He's got a pint sitting there, and he seems feeling a bit calmer, a bit more soothed this time.
Is this motion all right then?
With the left arm, yes.
Okay.
Yes. He has to put the drink down to eat the pie with his other hand. But, like, detective, what do you, how'd you go in there? Ooh, that's funny noises.
Yes, our investigation is ongoing.
Wilson's. Look, he
What
was...
sort of state are you in, sir? Would you be able to drive the coach, or should we leave you here for the night?
Oh, no, detective, no, I've had a drink now, I shouldn't drive. But, you know, you're a member of the constabulary, they seem fine folks if you wanted to borrow, the horses seem to have calmed down. You can drive a coach, can't you?
Can we?
I don't
You'll
know.
manage to drive a coach just fine.
I believe I'll manage to drive a coach just fine.
Well, it's just outside. They'll be
Yes.
right. Right as rain to get back into town. As long as no one else jumps out in front of the coach. Strange.
Yes.
thing.
All right. Yes, we shall
Very well.
drive the coach. Thank you very much, sir.
Very good.
How
Where
could
would
this
you
possibly go wrong?
Would you be heading to the cathedral where the body was found?
His
Father
office.
Collins is here. His house is
His
here
house
in Ballarat.
is not far.
Yeah. Did we want to go to the house first?
That sounds like a great idea. Is it
Certainly.
still foggy outside?
It is absolutely still foggy
Right.
outside.
Is it a straight line, or will we have to zigzag it?
He's
to get
really
to the
not
house?
far at all. You
Right.
could walk there. You don't
We
even need
could
to take the
probably-
coach. You walk there in a few minutes' time. You get to his house. The door is locked. You could make a locksmith or a strength check to get through the door if you wish.
Hello?
There is no response,
Oh.
as one would expect.
Can we try the key that we found?
Doesn't fit.
No, okay.
A strength check?
So you're trying to break down the door?
Let's...
I'll give it a hard shove, yes.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Outstanding.
it's open.
The door actually...
Stronger than you look.
No, it was locked, but it's not a very well-made door. So it simply cracks, and the door opens, creaks. It's a fairly simple home. You go in.
Pretty
There's
sure
a-
this is breaking and entering, but...
There's a couple of rooms in the house, nothing out of the ordinary. He's got some books up on the shelves. It seems like he doesn't spend a lot of time at home. But yeah, you can make an investigation check.
Investigation.
Does anyone else think there might be some kind of strange connection, perhaps with the white figure that spooked the horses and our vision?
Doctor, I think there's a connection between everything, all of the time, all of the things. Everything is connected.
Does this ring any bells?
Absolutely
in your
not.
okay.
Unless it does. Laura.
No, it doesn't.
No.
I
I absolutely do not
Oh, it should be
believe
one of them.
that
Excuse me. That's all right.
those white figures are anything to do with anything that we saw
No.
or
Yes.
allegedly saw earlier this evening. No, I do just think that
Make a
people
spot hidden.
dressed up
Okay.
in glow-in-the-dark paint.
If you don't have investigation, which
assumption.
apparently isn't a skill, make a spot hidden.
A spot hidden?
That's a hard success for me.
Excellent.
A success.
No.
As you all have a really good look around the house,
Critical
and
fail.
nothing that seems to be, especially you, nothing that seems to be relevant to this case. You imagine he would keep all of his paperwork in his office at the cathedral. But it's good to be thorough, and you've now ruled out his own home for any particular clues about
Yes.
this.
Just as I suspected, maybe
Very
I
well.
should be the detective.
No interesting books that catch your eye, Mr. Curtis?
I suspect at the office,
Yes.
in the cathedral, is where we'll find the kinds of tomes that I would be interested in.
To the cathedral then.
Outstanding. Now, if one of you would please take the coach there and slowly trundle it up towards the cathedral building. Oh, it's much more fun if you roll it. It has wheels, they work, it's wonderful, it's wonderful. Excellent. You head up Sturt Street, you cross the bridge again, the Yarrowee River Bridge, and you come up Sturt Street and approach St. Patrick's Cathedral. Beautiful building there. It occupies a large plot of ground off of Sturt Street, the Gothic stonework an impressive figure on the growing cityscape of Ballarat. The foundations have been worked on recently in preparation for the upcoming consecration, and scaffolding can still be seen on the northmost end and the bell tower. A graveyard lies behind, and fog eddies between the headstones. As you pull up in your coach on the street and you disembark, you approach the cathedral. As you approach the cathedral, you see in the distance in the graveyard a strange glow emanating from behind some headstones. What would you like to do?
Someone left a candle lit in a lantern or something.
Nonsense.
Now, you could go and
Oh, yes,
investigate the
well,
graveyard,
yeah, actually,
or you
that-
can head straight inside the cathedral, or you can investigate the building site, perhaps. It's up to
Probably
you.
investigate the graveyard. It could be one of these damnable ghost prankers, ghost hoaxers.
Yes, yes, sorry.
Yes.
The very bane of my existence.
Likewise, sir.
As you approach the cathedral's graveyard, a chill enters your body. You see the ghostly figure of a man appear in the fog. You cannot see his expression, though he sits alone on a gravestone, stark against the deep grey slab. His white body gleams with bright light in the mist. You hear suddenly a clang of metal on metal, and a high laugh pierces the air. Make an idea roll, all of you.
What?
Idea is in there.
Haha, I have it.
Everyone should have an idea.
That kind of roll.
I do not.
You don't?
I have no idea.
Where do we pull idea from? Make an intelligence roll. Yeah, intelligence idea. That's where it says it right there under int. Goodness, don't you guys read your character sheets?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Critical success.
Critical
A
success.
success.
A success.
Hard success.
Hard success.
Hard success.
Fortunately, all of you succeeded, and you can recognize that this is no ghost. This is a man.
It's Charles.
This is a man covered in white dust, sitting on the gravestone. And just as you make this realization, he turns around to you and goes, "Ah! Oh! I'm sorry. Who's that?
Who are you?
Who's that?
I would like to go and arrest this man.
Arrest. Do you come approaching him?
Yes.
The police officer. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Yes.
startle you. I'm having a break. That's all. He seems to be a working fellow. He doesn't seem to be dressed up as a ghost. And as you approach him, you realize that the reason he seems to be glowing stark white is that he is covered in dust.
Yeah.
Like plaster or brick dust of some kind. He's absolutely coated in it. I'm sorry to have startled you. I was having a break. I was having a sandwich. I made a bit of noise. I must have scared you. I dropped me pail. It was full of tools. And the laughter you might have heard. I remembered a joke my father told me a while ago. Just having
And
a
your
giggle.
name, sir?
My name's Jonathan Donovan, sir. Jonathan Donovan, bricklayer. Been working on the cathedral here of late, is all.
Yes. And why are you working here so late at night?
Yes, good question.
Just keeping up with things, you know. Just take pride in my work, is all.
It's a very late lunch.
Well, you work at night. If you would like to make a fast talk, charm, intimidate, if you like, as you are interrogating him of sorts. In fact, with intimidate, you are welcome to have a bonus die on that as an interrogatory police officer.
I don't actually have much skill in intimidate.
That's right.
So
You can
I
use
shall
any of the
fast
other
talk.
skills.
Yes. That is a critical success.
Oh, wow.
How would you like
Yes.
to extract more information from this fellow?
I shall use my badge and office. You do know, sir, that I'm a detective of Ballarat Police. It is rather suspicious you being out here. If you're not more forthright with the information, I shall have to take you in for questioning.
All right. If you insist, I'm sorry. It's a bit embarrassing, is all. I take pride in my bricklaying work, and I was working on where you can see where and he points over towards the church where the scaffolding is. I was working there about a week ago, and some bricks fell and they landed on the ground, and I don't really know how it happened, but it opened a big hole in the ground, and now I'm trying to do some work and fix everything up, is all. You know, I take pride in my work. It looks bad on the foundation work before the consecration coming in, and the foundation has to be strong, so I'm just been there trying to fix it up. Do be careful if you go down that way. You could easily slip and fall.
Can you show us where this hole in the ground is?
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Don't see why not. Yeah, sure.
It could be a mine shaft.
The circumstances surrounding the discovery of a chest, by any chance, within the hole.
Not anything I've heard about.
Excellent. Carry on. To
Right.
the hole.
So he takes you over to the scaffolding by the bell tower of the cathedral, and as you approach, you can actually see, as he points out, and you're quite fortunate that he's warned you about this and brought you here, because if you approached without him, you very easily could have missed this and fallen through. There is an earthy opening of damaged earth underneath the scaffolding, and you can see very light, a tiny bit of light from coming through there, not very much. Just down, it just looks like a hole coming down into, it doesn't look like a mine shaft, but you're not really sure what it looks like. Perhaps you could go into the cathedral and see if there's another way in. It could be some kind of basement. There is a small basement in the cathedral, but you can't really see through it. And he explains that, this is this is just right where it fell through, and I've been trying to cover it up. But yeah, like I say, so I've been coming here of an evening to just to try to catch up. You know, I want everything right before the concentration. I'm a good Irish Catholic, and I hate for my work to be considered shoddy in a cathedral as lovely as this one.
Do you think this is a mine shaft?
Does
This
anyone
close?
have any light source?
You all would have a lantern with you.
I'd like to hold it up over the hole and kind of,
So if you shutter the lantern, you can direct the light a little bit
yeah,
down
I'll
there.
open it up and kind of,
If you have a closer look, again, you see there is sort of more of that almost translucent glow happening down there. like a phosphorescent kind of glow. And phosphorus paint and phosphorescent things have been quite popular of late. That's what a lot of ghost hoaxers have been using to make themselves glow in the dark. You could try to get down further, but it would take a bit of time. You'd have to do some digging, and you could easily slip down.
Can we see the bottom?
You can't see the bottom because there's so many different croppings.
Let's throw something in. Well, we might get a sense of
Well,
how
I
deep
don't know
it
if you
is.
want to throw something in there. I mean, you could damage it further. I've been trying to fix this up.
We can always...
We could always go through the basement and
We
see
can
if
go
there's
and look in the
another-
basement, see if we can
Yes.
find anything.
Perhaps we leave a lantern here, directing light down, so that if we see the entrance from another way, that we'll be able to see if there's any sort of break in where he's filled
Do
it
you
in.
want us to lower the lantern down the hole?
Tell you what, Mr. Labourer,
Mr.
fetch your ladder or
Donovan.
something.
Donovan,
and
thank
if
you.
we need to come
Thank you,
back
miss.
to the hole another time,
Yes.
perhaps we can make use of a
Yes.
ladder to descend.
Wait, what do you want me to do again?
Find a ladder or a rope or something, man.
Well, I got rope in my toolkit. And
Yeah,
If you could just leave us a
Thank you.
coil of rope here, thank you, sir.
All right,
And yes,
sure.
if we need it,
Can I
we'll...
go home?
Once
Yes.
you've fetched the rope,
All right.
absolutely.
Do I need to go to the station or anything like that?
No. That's only Mary Bowell. She annoyed me.
Who? Oh,
Never
Mary.
mind.
Oh, Mary's lovely. Yeah, she was here last night.
Yeah, oh, really?
She'd been really looking after the people of Ballarat, she has. My cousin, in fact, probably would have died in childbirth if it wasn't for her. Yeah,
She was
well,
with a group that fired upon us.
Really? They must have thought you were ghosts. Is that a ghost around here these days? It's not very safe. But anyway, I'd best be off.
Real.
And Jonathan Donovan heads back. He goes and collects his things, and he heads home through the mist. So, as you'd like to head inside the cathedral.
Yes.
With, as you approach the cathedral doors, rather large, heavy wooden doors, they are locked. The key fits perfectly into the main doors of the cathedral, and with a thunk, the lock opens. You enter the main doors of St. Patrick's Cathedral. As the doors open, an ominous creak echoes through the chapel within. The arched ceiling looms over you, the lanterns you hold throwing shadows into the darkness. Wooden pews lead to the nave, where, were the candelabrum above you lit, Christ's cross would be illuminated. While the building is quite new, a damp smell hangs in the air. At one end, a door leads into Father Collins' office. Underneath one of the Gothic arches to the side, there are stairs leading down to a basement.
Office first?
Shall we?
Yes.
So as you head to the office, the same key opens that door just fine. There is an open lead light window clattering in the wind, and the room is cold, freezing cold. Breath mists as you breathe out into the room. The office of John Collins is pin neat. A comprehensive library of theology runs along two walls, and a tidy desk complete with meticulous in-out trays, pen and ink, sits at the end. A cup of tea sits to one side, cold. There is a drawer with a desk. Within the desk, there is a drawer, and of course there is the shelves along the side.
Ground floor.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to shut
The window?
those windows.
Certainly.
Before you do, madam,
Yes?
may I inspect it to make sure there's been no
course.
foul play and nobody breaking in?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead and make your spot hidden.
Spot hidden, thank you.
Detective Montague, lead light is quite fragile. If
Yes.
someone were to break in, they'd potentially damage the panes.
Yes.
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Nothing out of the ordinary at all. But in fact, it's quite a distractingly nice piece of artwork, this lead light
Yeah.
window. And you're standing there just looking at it. This is really lovely. I must find out who did this and see if they can make me one for myself, my own home.
In my
Fucking
office,
nice, yes.
in the Ballarat police station.
Now, and then Ms. Baldwin, you come in and
Get out of the way. Clunk.
excellent. What next?
Sorry, I got distracted.
Mr. Curtis will take a look at this collection of theological
Standing.
pieces.
You may make a library use roll, or you can make a spot hidden, but it would be hard, so you need to get half. You basically need a hard success.
Sir, I have a library of skill and I intend to use it. I'm gonna push that.
How will you push a library use roll?
Push that by cross-referencing the titles of the books lined on the shelf
Very well.
with those listed in my own
You could ask the spirits and
that
use
I carry
the Ouija
with me
board.
everywhere, obviously.
Yes. Very well. Roll again.
I will.
They're not using the Dewey Decimal System.
Look, that's a fail, but I'm going to also burn it. Can I burn luck?
You can burn as much luck as you like.
Magnificent. I'm going to burn 8 luck.
8 luck?
To make that a success.
Very well. With a success, you're getting distracted with your own book, or this cross-referencing, trying to listen to the spirits.
Very interesting.
As you do so, however, you suddenly notice there is a large leather-bound tome on a shelf, which is a very odd book to have in a Catholic building, in a cathedral. It's a book titled Martin Luther's 95 Theses, which is fairly against the Catholic doctrine. What you find odd about it, however, is this large, thick, leather-bound tome should be a tiny little booklet. Should be a teeny little book. That's rather odd.
There's something hidden in it.
Well, this seems rather out of place. And
Very good.
Mr. Curtis will obtain the book.
Oh, what have you found there?
Outstanding. Now, I have to organise my
As
handouts.
it happens, I have plenty of time to explain what I've found here. A leather-bound tome that seems very out of place in this
for you.
scenario.
I'm familiar with Martin Luther. Isn't that normally a
I'm
A
sure you've
brochure
worked with a much
size.
smaller version
Yes.
of this very tome.
Here, this one for you. Inside this book, you find it has got a few little things in it, some pieces of paperwork and such. You find these bits of paper that I've handed you. On top of these bits of paper that I've handed you, you find another scrap of paper which seems to be written in Latin. You cannot decipher it at this time unless you want to have a closer look.
can speak Latin.
You can speak Latin.
I can read Latin as
You
well.
can read Latin as well.
Hand it
Outstanding.
Should we read out what we've found?
Certainly. Well, there is a couple of different handouts I've given you. So would you mind, please, Ms. Baldwin, reading handout 4 that I've given you? A little scrap of paper there written.
Uncovered these in the building site. Must verify these findings with my colleagues at the Old Colonists Club. Could be quite the sensation if it's true.
Thank you very much.
I had the same handout.
Excellent. I will get you to do the Latin one. Detective Montague, could you please
Yes.
read this one? Now, this is a piece of paper that is a bit older letter, and there is another piece of paper attached to it within Father Collins' scroll.
The old piece of paper says, we were delivered today the King's letter for the taking away of shrines and images, 1543, by officers of Thomas Cromwell, Earl of Essex. He railed of the light before the sacrament and the cloth that lay before the altar, of the ornaments of the church. He defaced a chapel at Offspring, pulled down the images and sold all the stuff. In the margin there is a list of witnesses: Thomas Hawkins, Thomas Prorick, Reynold Smith, Sir John Leggett, and the priest of Hammersmith. It is not my mission to destroy the antiquities of the building committed to my charge, but lovingly to conserve them. And if the whole diocese were to urge their removal, I must be content to reply that not only am I not a man to carry their sentence into execution, but I am prepared to use every means at my command to protect the objects of attack. Gilbert Scott.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Curtis, would you mind reading the small piece written on there by Father Collins?
Because I don't know how to pronounce that.
The images and holy relics seem to have not been destroyed.
Could you please make a
and were
Latin?
stored among a group of recalcitrant Catholics. They must have arranged their transport to the colonies to consecrate the land for a new church, says Father John Wright, Stephen. Father John Collins.
That is a hard success.
A hard success, fantastic. Now you have a look at this scrap of paper in Latin, and with a hard success, you get the full Latin translation rather than a piecemeal one. You're welcome to have a look. Please read this translation in your greatest Latin English, please. Whatever that means to you.
I write these words as a warning to all of what took place almost 30 years ago when I was a young man. A group of honourable knights were tasked with defeating an evil witch who lurked in the forests surrounding Estigum in St. Stephen's Holy Principality of Hungary. The woman lived in a forest that was constantly shrouded in fog. None dared to walk the paths near her home until one day, the son of a local lord wandered too far on a hunting trip. He was never seen alive again. We tracked his path through the forest and uncovered his body, the eyes white as snow. The trail he had been following led towards a hidden castle, shrouded in vapor, not listed on any maps known to man. I have faced hardened warriors on the battlefields of the Crusades, but none have borne the face of evil like that woman who sat upon the throne of what we call the Castle of Mist. We lost Chevalier Vacquelin to the madness she inspires, an all-consuming power that convinces men to serve her devilry. She appears as a beautiful maiden, and yet her true visage is one of the ghouls of hell, her hair a whip which grasps men in her clutches. Yet the Almighty gave us strength that day. We pierced her heart with the blessed spear and locked her dying body away in a coffin without the last rites. Our leader was called to bring her body to England, the sacred ground blessed by one who is favourable to our cause. As for the she-devil, her name is Dearfrith. I write it here so none may forget that evil. God help us all if she breaks loose once more.
So now I would like, you can keep that one actually, I would like you all to remember that you have now received a warning about Dearfrith and this description. And that is what you find hidden inside this book. Would you like to do any more investigating inside this office?
Does that name mean anything to you, Mr. Curtis?
Excellent question. I was wondering the very same thing.
Make a Cthulhu Mythos roll.
Ooh.
Very little, as it turns out.
Nothing that you can piece together. For those playing at home, Cthulhu Mythos as a statistic is always low, because if you were to understand the mythos of Cthulhu and the old ones, you'd immediately go insane. Yes. So very, very unlikely to get that one, but good try all the same. Anything else to be done in this office?
Is there anything else of interest?
There is still the desk with a drawer in it.
May I investigate the desk?
Certainly may. You go over to the desk. There's the cold cup of tea there, the pen, the nib, the books, the in and out tray. Yes. You go through the drawers and you find a few little bits and pieces, a book of matches and such. But you do find a large book, which is it's a book of all of the church parishioners and their addresses and their personal information. Not all of their personal information, but the sort of personal information you might expect the parish priest to have.
Would this interest you, Detective? It's a record of the priests who have done work in the church here.
Not just the priests, also the people who come here, anyone who comes here and attends services. So there's a big book. Yeah. It probably has half of the population of this area of Ballarat's addresses in them.
Oh my goodness.
It's a big old book of yellow pages.
Yes.
Yeah. Possibly not. Not for the time being, but we know where to find it should we require it.
Very good.
Put it back in the drawer.
Lovely. To investigate the basement then, I imagine.
Yes, let's.
Yes.
Outstanding.
Onwards and downwards.
Downwards. As you head down to the stairs, in fact, I do apologise, you did find one other thing in the drawer, which was a very small key. Rather little key.
Yoink.
Grab the key. So you head down towards the basement door, down the stairs there, and you approach the door, which is locked.
Can we hear anything?
You use the new key!
Hey.
It goes click, and the door opens.
Has
And you
it
cannot
got
hear anything through the door.
Keys in this investigation.
As you enter the small basement, there is a very small basement of storage in there, but one of the walls seems to have been caved in, and it leads to a damp, previously hidden crypt of some kind.
Lawkeeper.
Yes.
I've received word with the time signal.
Yes, very good. We are very much approaching that. Thank you so much. Moonlight shines through the opening in the roof, and you can even see that little lantern that you placed above. Tiny little bit of light coming through from there. So you do believe this is where you were looking for. Dank water drips down the walls, and phosphorescent mushrooms that are growing around the place illuminate a ceiling which is covered in intricate designs. Could you please get that the lower piece of paper there?
Lower piece of
today.
That's one.
At the bottom of these intricate designs, there is an old church rood, which, if anybody doesn't know what that is, it's an ornate partition. And this is an example. This isn't the one that I'm talking about. This is an example of what a rood looks like. So these lovely, really interesting artwork that you'll find on a church rood. And I'll just place that there. We'll show that around later. This one depicts knights engaged in battle with a woman wearing a gilded white dress and a veil. Everyone please make a history roll.
Is it?
History?
I do not have history.
No.
Nope.
Perhaps an occult roll.
Yeah, go on. I'll let you do an occult roll.
Yes,
I was
but
about to
of
say it
course
has to be a hard success, but you got it.
I'd like to push the roll, and I'd like to cross-reference with our little Latin
Go ahead.
transcript here.
Yep. Now, your occult roll will do something quite interesting in a moment. I'm going to get you to hang on to that one because it was such an excellent one. How'd you go?
I'd like to use luck.
Very well. How much luck are you using?
8 points.
8 points of luck of your...
8 points of
goodness,
luck.
all right.
Of my 30.
With your history roll that succeeded through luck, you can tell that this is of medieval origin, 12th century specifically, and the knights you recognise as members of the poor fellow soldiers of Christ in the Temple of Solomon, which are better known as the Knights Templar, which is consistent with that cross-referencing that you did. Around the edges of this, God himself is there, and he holds a protective hand over the knights, who pierce this woman with a great spear. More of the fresco has collapsed. You can do a spot hidden to look around for perhaps missing pieces in the dirt.
May I assist?
You certainly may.
Yes. I think we should all do a spot hidden.
Mm-hmm.
That is a hard success.
And a
Outstanding.
hard success for me.
Excellent.
No, I've hit my head on the wall.
If you look too close, then bonk.
I'll use that. So,
007 Extreme.
excellent. So you all rather quickly find a few extra pieces hidden
Oh, is
under
this
moss that's
that
been
then?
growing and what have you.
Jigsaw.
And you put them together. As you do this piece by piece, you notice there is a large inhuman creature rising above the woman. It is tall, black, and a tentacle sprouts from its forehead and coils around it. With your hard occult success, you recognize this figure. You recognize this figure as one you've seen before.
Oh.
This is Nyarlathotep. This is the being, the entity that you saw Stephen attempt to draw into our mortal plane
I don't feel so
in the
well.
clouds over Mount Warren Heap some months ago.
Quick, steady me.
This figure defends the woman. God defends the knights. But as you see, the knights prevailed, stabbing the woman with the spear. You then see through the other pieces that you place that this woman is then encased in a great locked iron coffin and entombed. That is all you can glean from this. But there is a small, narrow pathway further in.
Do we think the Stephenites are involved here again?
Could be.
Potentially.
Same
you know,
theme.
Stephen himself is locked up in the Aradale Lunatic Asylum. His cult has been disbanded for the last few months, so
Yep.
you don't know. Would you like to continue down towards the crypt?
There's nothing else here that we
Not
can...
that you can see, no.
Just trying to keep an eye out for a spear. It might be useful, I feel.
Yes.
Possibly!
Yes.
You head down, you go down the short corridor, and you rather quickly find an ancient metal crate in an open crypt room. Well, not a large room, but
Is it
larger
made
than
out
say.
of iron?
It is made out of iron and
Oh,
old
no.
wood.
Has it been opened?
It has indeed been
Oh
opened.
no!
There is a heavy lock on the box
Dear me.
that has been opened there, and you can have a closer look at that. Would you like to look inside this box?
No.
Yes.
I will rephrase.
I was going to say, Mr. Curtis, this is your area of expertise.
Mr. Curtis, are you looking as well?
Yes, I would love to.
Ms. Baldwin and Mr. Curtis approach this lead-lined coffin. You peer inside and you see it's empty of any kinds of bones or body parts. There is scraps of clothing, ancient
Bone
white
man.
cloth. Certainly ancient white cloth, but it's still stark and bright white, like it hasn't fully deteriorated. Everybody please do make a spot hidden as you have a look.
Alf took the bones.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? With a spot hidden, you also find a little bone on the ground. You peer down and look closer, and you see it's not, actually, it is a bone. It seems to be an animal bone, but it's a button. It's a button that looks just like the buttons that were on Alfred Dunning's coat.
Took the bones.
You'd also have a look at this lock. Very ornate lock, gorgeous piece of ornamentation. And it has something written on it. It's inscribed in Latin. The inscription reads, Una salus victus, nullum sperare salutum. Could you please make another Latin roll with a bonus die?
Ooh, not great. A 70. A 20, which is a hard success.
A hard success. You very quickly look upon this lock, and you mouth the words in Latin. You realize, and you translate it thusly: There is one hope for the vanquished, to cherish hope no more. And we'll break for an interval there. We'll be played out by Bruce Waldron as we have a 15-20 minute break. Thank you very much, everybody.
Strange things happen in the country as well. Here is another terrible tale. Well, the groom stood there, waiting for his bride. The best man shivering by his side. On him the smell of stale sheep dip, and a flask of brandy on his hip. He knew he trod that last long mile as his dear walked slowly down the aisle. This was the day he was waiting for, when she'd get in for his cup and more of her old man's station and his gold. As soon as wedding bells had tolled, good fortune sure had smiled his way. This was indeed his lucky day. But the bride, she died at the altar. The bridegroom died next day. The parson dropped dead in the churchyard as he was about to pray. The hearse capsized at the crossroads, couldn't take the turn, and the people all stood and they wept and they wailed as they watched the old pub burn. And then the heavens broke open, and the rain it started to pour, and the whole bloomin' town got washed away, and there was no one left at all.
So let's come back to the Ballarat 1891, the fog happening, Deerfrith, some horrible spectral thing floating around, Nyarlathotep, the great old one with his multiple tentacled forehead things all around the business. And you are in St. Patrick's Cathedral, the basement in a hidden crypt, over a secret open coffin full of not very many bones. What would you like to do?
The bones!
It's the man who was muttering about the
Elf
bones.
was muttering about the bones. That's one of his buttons.
Oh, the poor bone man. Of course.
Yes.
We should possibly go and find him, and whilst we're at it, maybe find a spear. Just have a feeling.
Pick up one of the femur bones and let's move on.
Yes, but there's no bones in there.
Because Elf took them.
Of course, yes.
This is why we're going to see Alf.
So you need to find Elf.
Yes, via
Alfred
the spear
Dunning.
shop.
How would you like to find where Alfred Dunning is?
The yellow pages.
The yellow pages! Outstanding. So you head upstairs, you leave the crypt, you head into the office of Mr. Father John Collins, and you open his desk drawer and you flick through here. I would like you to make a library use roll.
Ah. I've indeed used a library before. I'm not proficient, but that's a 19.
That's fine.
Seems like a hard success.
You have a really good look through, and you very quickly find he has actually pretty well ordered things, and you find Alfred Dunning. You find his address in the Ballarat East. A little bit of a hike out of town. Yes, just where that lovely little building is on our map. He's a little bit out of town, but as you are equipped with a vehicle, it shouldn't be too difficult for you to make it that way.
Let's go retrieve those bones.
Yes.
Excellent.
All right. Shall we?
So you head out of St. Patrick's Cathedral. You leave the eerie, shadowy awning behind.
Steer. No.
You clamber back into the coach. Detective Montague hops behind, and you head down Sturt Street. You go over the Ballarat Bridge, over the Arrowee again, and you head through. However, before you leave the centre of town,
Back up. Beep, beep.
on the journey to Dunning's cottage, the fog seems to have become denser, brighter, more ready to engulf any who wander the streets of Ballarat this night. As you approach Lydiard Street, you hear the crack of a whip through the mist. It is followed by a mirthful cackle. And suddenly, the horses are again spooked. Detective, I need you to make a strength roll to hold onto the reins.
I'd like to push that.
How will you push this?
By going, whoa there, come on, yeah, steady now, and yes.
I'll let you do it, but only in the knowledge that if you fail twice... Oh, that was a lucky roll. What was that? I can't read the other one.
That is a 4.
A 4.
So that is a critical success.
You grab control of the reins, you rest the horses, and you think you're about to fall off. You almost are unseated, but you grab and you pull yourself back, and you manage to calm the horses. As you are resting control of the reins, however,
and
looking
damn cool while doing it, I presume.
you think you see a bright white tailcoat and top hat disappear down an alley. By the time you've taken control of the horses, you know it's too late for you to give chase. He could have gone in any direction. The cackling fades in the distance.
Another ghost hoaxer.
You continue down the street, across the bridge, and towards Alfred Dunning's cottage. When you find yourself in front of Dunning's home, you note that it is a dilapidated cottage in the slums of the Ballarat East. The corrugated iron of the roof is rusted and damaged, blackberry clambers up the walls, and bone talismans litter the overgrown path to the door, hanging from hooks on the awning. Would you like to enter the property? Go towards the front door?
Absolutely.
Examining some of these talismans.
Certainly. Make an occult roll for me, please.
Definitely.
Don't touch the bones.
That is a success.
From your understanding of occult rituals and these sorts of things, none of these seem to really have any kind of real power as far as you're aware, but they're very, very common sorts of talismans in a lot of different, old spiritual and pagan beliefs. Something that someone might buy if they're a bit superstitious to protect themselves or any number of different things.
Well, none of this is of much use. He seems to be very fond of bones.
As you approach the front door and you're under the veranda there, you notice there is possum skins and possum bones laid out carefully on any surface to dry. The door is closed. You might knock if you like, or it's up to you how you want to handle this.
Is there any light coming from inside?
No, it's pretty well into the evening by this point. He might be asleep, if there's anyone home.
Well, we best wake him up then. We're
best.
short on time. Yes?
As you knock,
We
you
double
eventually
knocked.
hear a stir through the door, and the door handle moves, and then opens just a little bit, and you see the old man, Alfred Dunning, and he looks at you. And as he looks at you, recognition dawns upon him. Oh, it's you again. She likes you. You're the tasty one. Oh, she knows you. Come. She opens the door and heads into his room.
We've got the button. We brought the button with us.
Absolutely.
He
have that on you?
busies himself at the counter in his kitchen, pouring tea into filthy little cups, little bone china, and he, shaking hands, places the tray on the table in front of you.
That-
The tea.
I appreciate the sentiment, old chap, but I've had far too much tea this evening.
He doesn't seem at all interested in the conversation. He doesn't respond. The tea is stone cold. Stone cold and rather stale. As you come inside the building, you see animal bones tumble from every surface. One can scarcely move in this home without disturbing the dead in some way. The wood stove barely warms the room, and a straw pallet in the corner serves as a bed. Could everybody make a spot hidden, please? Alfred's just busy himself pottering around, muttering to himself.
Lovely lodgings you've got here.
I live here
Hard
many years.
success.
A success.
Success.
Critical fail. A bone has fallen on my head.
With your successes, you do notice under the straw pallet there is a rug. And just under the corner of the rug, you see a small trapdoor. But you can't, it's half under the rug there. You see it there as Dunning busies himself.
Do you want to just confirm who she is? I think we all know what the answer is, but let's just be 100%. Mr. Dunning, who is she?
My queen. She's my queen. She's my queen, my lady.
Sits on a throne, has a crown.
Yes, the crown, the throne. The nasty men, they locked her up. They did. They locked her up. They did. And she bade me to set her free, and I did. I set her free, and my carving tools, they broke the lock. They did, and now I serve the lady and her lord. I went looking for the rat bones, you see, the little rats, they make buttons. The buttons for you, and for you, and for you, and for me. And then I found my lady, and I freed her.
Mr. Dunnings, what exactly did you do with your lady after freeing her?
I serve.
Her bones.
The bones, yes, she bade me to get the bones, and I did. I got the bones, and she bade me to get the bones, and I did. And it said, cherish, hope no more, but I broke the lock with my carving tools.
Where are her bones at the moment? Her bones, where are they?
What about them?
Where are they?
Where are what?
The bones.
Her bones?
Yes, where
Whose
are
bones?
her bones?
The bones, the rat bones. I made the buttons from the bones.
No, the lady's bones that you got from the crypt, where are they? Last chance.
Safe.
Safe where?
Detective, I might step outside briefly with dear Elf here, and I'm wondering,
quite comfortable.
could you show me the bones out the front of your house?
Oh, he just points at them. He doesn't want to leave his home. He points at them. You may make an interpersonal roll of your choice, any of you, to try to convince him to give you more information, but at the present time he doesn't seem to be interested in giving you more than incomprehensible ramblings.
I do have quite a background in psychology here, so perhaps I could...
So that would allow you to understand his mental state. That will allow you to understand his mental state. Would roll. That was a almost an extreme success, I would say, depending on what your stat is. He is aware of what you're asking, actually. He is not sane, this man, and he's not well. He's a broken man, and you believe he may have been, well, a broken man before coming into contact with Deofrith in any way. But he is deflecting.
Yes, is he biding time? Do I think he's biding time?
Not so much. It's just he doesn't want to answer the question because he's afraid of what might happen if he does.
Right, that's interesting.
But you could certainly press him to answer. However, a man in this state pushed too far could become very dangerous.
Why have you got that face on?
I think we should poke him a little. Let's press him to get the information we need.
I think we should subdue him first.
He faces a small
Perhaps
bone
restrain
with
him.
carvings just in your hand,
Headlock,
and then
perhaps.
walks away.
I was thinking more of binding his hands, but
Mr. Curtis, does this mean anything? He's just given me a bone.
Clearly a bone.
Yes, but it's got markings on it.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
Love markings. Let me have a closer look.
Just like the ones you saw outside.
They absolutely useless.
Yes.
Good.
Oh, this bone appears to have fallen near this trapdoor.
Good.
It might have been inside. Perhaps I'll have a look to see if I can recover the bone.
Make a sleight of hand check.
If that was a thing that existed, I would.
It is, and it's on the right of your
In
page.
which case, almost definitely a fail. No. 26?
That's not bad.
Okay, 10. Sure. Who needs those 16 left?
So you manage
what could go wrong?
to, with that distraction, you do manage to get down and you open the trapdoor just a touch, and you see bones in there. Now you will have to close the door, otherwise you'll be seen. But in the moment where you have it open, you do see a pile of bones made from an unfamiliar mineral. There is a skull sitting on top. It has a strange sheen, like oil on water shimmering in the dim light of the room. It feels alive somehow. And you close the door before he notices that you've seen inside.
That's suspected. They're definitely down there. And I feel like maybe that was a waste of how lucky I've been feeling right now.
Mr. Dunning, would you allow us to go into the basement?
The basement?
Yes.
I don't have there's no basement here.
Well, underneath that trapdoor that's in the corner there.
Just to clarify, it's not a basement, it's a hidden compartment, just a small hole there.
Underneath that trapdoor there.
Trapdoor, you said that. He's tensed and frozen to the point where you believe if you don't do something in the next couple of seconds, he might explode.
I'm going to restrain him.
All right.
That wasn't what I was expecting.
I'm going to jump in and I'm going to try and pin his arms behind his back.
You are going to make an opposed strength check with a bonus die
He's going to attack us.
because you are attacking
You could calm him
surprise.
down, you're a doctor.
We could just throw the button out the door and see if he
It's
follows
happening
it,
now.
but it's happening.
Hippocratic
I
oath
made
all
a
that.
Okay.
choice. I'm not harming him.
He has
Let's
made a
attack the
hard
crazy old
success.
man.
So you
Oh,
need
hold
an
on.
extreme success to beat him, but you have a bonus die. It's an opposed strength roll,
Opposed.
and you have a bonus die because you are doing so without warning. You grab him by the arm. How bad? Wait, what did you get? Right, so you try to restrain him by grabbing him by the arms, and he immediately, and stronger than you expect him to be, he throws you off of him and turns and pulls a small knife out of his jacket.
Now, Mr. Dunning, there's no need for that.
You get to make a fast talk and make it a good one.
Make a fast talk and talk fast.
That's not a good one.
No.
So,
Give me that button, that bone button you have.
Can I push the roll?
no,
Okay.
not this time,
No.
no.
I
This
can make
is
a fast
we're
talk.
basically entering initiative.
Oh, absolutely not.
Now, because you attacked him, he's going to take a swing at you with the knife.
Oh no.
So he's going to go first. We are
with the
basically in
what?
initiative.
Okay.
Now,
He has a knife.
He has a knife.
there's only one opponent here, so he's going to go. Then you all get to go in whatever turn you like, unless you have opposing ideas, and then he will get to go again, depending on how we go. He attacks you with the carving knife.
I imagine this differently.
He takes a swing at you and misses. Now, you will get to counterattack.
Haha!
How does this work? It's been a while since I've done this. So just make an attack roll with whatever skill you like.
My unarmed. Oh no! I would like to use my suffragitsu.
Suffragitsu, fantastic. Now, a nice little moment here for us to talk about. It was very common for suffragettes of this time period to practice jujitsu as a matter of self-defense in a time and place where being a suffragette was not at all safe or socially acceptable.
Indeed.
So, so he's swung at you with a knife and he's thrust forward. Make your roll and let's see what you do.
I'm warning you, Elf. Back off. Oh yes.
Ooh.
Oh, he's going to back off, and
Outstanding. What level of success was that?
Oh, that was a hard success. Shall
Excellent.
I
Now,
make
let's
it?
work with this. Now, not necessarily, he thrusts at you with the carving knife, and you grasp him by the arm. And what do you do
I
with him
would
next?
like to twist his wrist,
Ah!
and I'd like to pin his wrist behind his back, and I'd like to take him to the floor.
Take him to the floor.
Yep, just.
Very well.
An actual suffragitsu move.
Outstanding. He's on the floor, his arm behind him, and he is restrained. As you find yourself restraining him, and he's completely under your control now with very little actual resistance, it dawns upon you how sad this man is. He's in the twilight of his life. He's stricken by poverty. His mind is broken.
And you've just beat him up.
And he is in pain with his arm twisted behind his back on his knees on the floor of his dilapidated cottage. And you feel for him.
I do.
Quickly, clock him with the back on the back
No,
of the head.
he is restrained.
You do have shackles on you, sir.
I shall shackle him.
Very well. Dunning, the bones.
Thank you,
I'm
Doctor.
sorry, the bones. I have to save the bones. I have to. Don't take the bone. I just don't take
Why
the bones.
should we not
from
take
me.
the bones?
They give me power and strength, and they make me safe. And he just withers away, and he's speaking. He completely becomes incomprehensible, and he looks down upon the ground and slumps and disassociates. This is a broken man, a truly sad and broken personage.
Now,
He
look,
did swing at you with a knife.
She attacked him first.
clearly this man is enthralled by some spirit or creature beyond our ken. Perhaps,
Dearfrith,
Ms. Baldwin,
Yes.
perhaps you could play the part of this mistress of his and put his soul at ease for a short time.
Would you like me to lay my head in his lap? Is that what you're asking? What do you
Well,
mean?
he's currently
Not
prone on the
necessarily.
floor, so that's going to be difficult.
Perhaps if
How would one play the
If
part of his mistress?
you put your skills to use, convince this man that you are she, to which he's enthralled.
All right, find me white
And
sheep.
tell him it's absolutely fine for us to do whatever we want in this house.
I'll
I mean,
take-
he's restrained. You can already do whatever you want in
I
this house.
feel bad for the man. Clearly,
Well, look,
he's suffering.
we'll do what we can. I'll just take this curtain here.
Make a... I don't even know what role to use.
It is I have a disguise. Look.
Disguise, yep. Use your disguise.
Yeah.
Pretty good. All right. My lady, my queen, my lady.
It is I, your queen. Yes. Dear friend, what do I ask? What do I ask?
They came, the ones that you like.
They
came.
did come. Remind me again who they are.
The tasty ones, I don't have their names. There they are, they're here.
Say that it's okay for us to take the bones.
You will give us the bones.
The bones. I will give you the bones, dear
You will
Frith.
get-
I will give. I'll
We
give
are
you the,
they.
They're what? The bones. Oh, the bones. They're under the hatch. The bones are under the.
He doesn't know anything about a
Bones,
spear.
They're under the hatch.
Is there a spear involved?
That's how they stopped her before. I'm just...
Tell me more about a spear.
I only found the bones. Only the bones. I only found the bones. Bones.
Or perhaps weaknesses that you might have of any kind that may be useful for no reason.
Absolute nonsense.
My lady has no.
Sleep. Sleep. Quickly get the bones. And
Is there some
they
sort
go
of
on
bag?
the door.
Not through any magical ability, he through sheer force of loyalty goes to sleep.
Oh dear.
Well done, Mom.
Come.
Would you like to collect the bones?
Yes.
Yes, is there some sort of bag we can put them in?
You certainly could find some kind of satchel or burlap sack or some kind and collect the bones.
Can you
Somebody
use your
please make a
medical knowledge?
science roll of some kind.
Oh, I can do science.
We also
I-
beat up old people.
Yeah, I'm trying to make up for it. I'm trying really hard to make up for it. Oh, I am going to make up for it with a extreme success.
Not only is this mineral unfamiliar to you, you are certain it is not an element from the periodic table. This is not of this earth. Do you share that information with everybody?
Yes. Share.
This doesn't exist. Put that away.
Oh, sorry.
Everybody please make a sanity roll.
Yes.
Oh.
Wait. No.
You get disadvantage now.
Oh,
No, you're fine. Well
That
done.
is.
That was a pass.
Anyone that failed, you take 1d4 of sanity damage. How do you collect the bones?
I am not going anywhere near them.
How do you collect the bones? You wearing gloves?
Absolutely not. Just bundling them up.
Into the bag.
Curtis would examine them first to see if there's any significance to the way that they're displayed.
It's a messy pile of bones with a skull sitting on top.
Here.
This is disrespectful in some way, I'm
Bundle
sure.
them in here.
So you collect the bones.
Excellent. Bundle them up immediately.
Curtis, as you collect the bones, a voice enters your mind, just your mind. Smooth, sweet, soothing. I can give you back your dear Annie Beale.
Oh, my dear
Take
sweet Annie.
a bone, slide it into your pocket, hide it from the others. I will give you power and love. Make a sleight of hand, please. Everybody else make an opposed spot hidden.
That is a 90? No.
What did you roll? 90-0? You all see as he takes one of these bones and unsurreptitiously places it into a pocket as he collects them.
Mr. Curtis, please put that back in the bag.
What?
the bone in your pocket. Put it back in the bag,
See
please.
it.
We can see the
Mr. Curtis,
Tell
this
him we
isn't
can see the
humorous.
Yes.
Everyone here saw that.
Was it a humorous?
It was.
Oh, okay.
As you argue, and as you're talking and you're collecting
Yes,
the bones,
in the bag.
you all are drawn suddenly to gaze at the iridescent skull's eye sockets.
In the bag. Bag.
Bag. Pop it in the bag.
Give me
And
the
as
bag.
he closes it,
Give
and
me
you-
the bag.
As you grab the bag, and the two of you are holding the bag, all of a sudden, all of you are caught in a momentary vision again. You hear, "You will serve the other gods," as you see Deifrith sitting upon her ancient throne, reaching out to you with long, inhuman fingers. Make a power roll, all of you.
I have the bag!
With a bonus die, because you were warned.
A
Ready?
0!
A 0!
I rolled a 0!
Excellent.
I got a success.
Success?
And a bonus side, that
Bonus?
one,
Yep.
Still success.
All of you, immediately, as you see Deifrith draw to you, you shake off this vision.
No!
Your mind is again clear and you no longer covet the bone.
Give me the bag.
And all of you still standing with all four hands on the bag, calm yourselves. And the realization dawns upon you that this must be dealt with quickly before anybody
I should take the
else
bag.
is put at risk.
Right. Yep.
It is best that you head to the cathedral.
Yes.
You know, it could just
And
go
end
straight under
this.
your... For safekeeping, yes.
Are we heading to the cathedral?
Yes.
Yes.
Obviously, these bones need to go back into the box in
Into the
which they were
coffin.
taken
Yes.
from
I
the coffin.
absolutely agree with that.
And then we bring earth and fire down upon it.
Just to get them off our hands. Obviously, I don't believe in any of this, so...
Yes.
So you embark
give
the
you back
coach
your
once
skis.
more, and you begin heading back towards town. Now, please move the coach towards us, and I would like you to bring it to around about where Lydiard Street is. As the coach travels over the bridge once more, the infernal mist seems to grasp at it, trying to slow its progress. The low visibility forces you to slow your approach. You enter Sturt Street and you pass Lydiard Street. You close on Armstrong. As you do, you suddenly hear a loud, piercing, high tone, one made by a policeman's whistle, coming from a nearby alley.
We should investigate. I have some of my best men here doing a undercover operation.
Why didn't you tell us that before?
It didn't seem prudent at the time.
What are they doing?
They are trying to catch the ghost prankers in a new and interesting scientific method.
By becoming the ghost prankers.
No. Because the ghost prankers seem to be targeting women and women of the night.
The women, the whistle toots once more.
Yes, let's go down the alleyway and try and rescue my men, who may be dressed as women of the night.
What?
Do you all follow the detective?
Absolutely not.
You're staying behind?
I'm going to stay behind.
Very well.
We're taking the
We have
bones up.
far more important things to take
There
care
are
of here,
women,
man.
there are men dressed as women in danger.
Yes.
You rush into the alleyway. As you rush into the alley, the uneven bluestone cobbles pass underfoot. You see a familiar young man wearing a fine laced evening gown. You recognize this man as the coach driver from your adventure some months ago, young Constable Incaster. He is wrestling with a spectral figure. A figure wearing a white-tailed coat and hat, with black rubber boots to his knees, wielding a nine-tailed whip. This is the infamous Ballarat Ghost himself, fallen foul of a cunning police sting. The wrestling continues. The whip cracks. The man fights.
I would like
The
to
race
assist.
fights very well. How do you
Seems
assist?
like he has this under control, detective.
I would like to assist. He's wearing a dress. He's not used to it.
You rush on in. How do you assist?
I would like to also grapple him and
Very
put
well.
him to the floor.
Make a strength check with a bonus die. It will be an opposed strength check with a penalty die.
I would like to use one luck to make that an extreme success.
Very well. Now, you do manage to wrest him to the ground. The combined force of both police officers force the man to the ground. His white top hat rolls down the alleyway. His whip falls out of his hand. And he, all of a sudden, makes a rather pathetic sound. And you've caught the Ballarat Ghost. Congratulations, you
Well
believe.
done, Constable Incaster, you magnificent and handsome man, you.
Oh, thank you very much, Detective. I really, all the boys were speaking on me about this, but I knew when I said it that Detective Montague would never put me in this situation unless he believed in me.
Yes, promotions and pay rises for you all the way.
Perfect Yorkshire accent.
Yes,
Now,
continue.
Now, as he gets him back to his feet, Constable Lingerson says, "Oh, we got him, Detective. We got the Ballarat Ghost. No more pranks for you, chum. The boys back at the station just won't believe this." And the ghost says,
Shackle him.
as you shackle him, "You have the wrong man, I tell you. I'm coming from a party is all. Yes, a business event. I've been entrapped, I tell you. I'm an honest businessman. Ask anyone. My name is Herbert Patrick McLennan, highly respected man at your service. Yeah. Please, Detective, please. Gentlemen, lady, help me sort this out, would you?"
You can tell that to the judge, sir. Take him away, Constable Lancaster.
That's my line. That's literally my line. Well done. Yeah.
Does James Curtis, as a high society businessman, socialite, thank you.
Yeah, make an intelligence roll.
Recognise this gentleman. 39.
Yeah, you would. You would recognise Herbert Patrick McLennan. He is a well-known, well-respected businessman who nobody would ever think would be in this kind of hijinks. And yet here he is.
Detective,
rather embarrassing.
He is indeed who he says he is.
Yes, but he's here dressed as a ghost. He could be the Ballarat Ghost. He matches all descriptions. He has a whip, top hat. Take him away, Constable Lancaster.
Yeah,
right you are, Detective.
I would have been invited to this party if it existed, surely.
He heads down towards the street with you and peels off towards the nearest police station and set up. And you are welcome to continue your journey to the real spectral scheme of Ballarat. And
I'm
you
happy
approach.
I've done my job.
Very well. You go back home.
Yeah.
Very well done, everybody. You have solved the mystery of the Ballarat Ghost. You make your way back to St. Patrick's Cathedral, disembarking the coach and descending once more into the hidden crypt. The bones. You notice you're holding the bag, yes?
Yes.
The bones begin to radiate cold. They're in a rather thick bag, but so cold that you can feel it through the bag. As you head down the stairs into the crypt,
in there quickly.
The mist starts to pool around your feet.
Quickly now.
Heading towards the crypt, you go down the hallway, and I'll ask you to do this. Now, you can't see this, those playing at home. We're going to use a little map here just for the sake of this next encounter. If you could have your minis over here, please. And place them all here, in this area.
Should we show everyone where we are?
Yeah, actually, just put these up. This is just a very quick little map. We're using this for an encounter for no particular reason. And the players will be using this to assist in our theatre of the mind. Place that there. As you close towards the coffin, the mist starts to pool around your feet and coalesce next to this crate. Before you can really approach, you start to put the bones, place the bones in the sack.
Yes.
In the sack, thread in, and you reach to close the lid. But before you can, a sudden and unnatural gust of wind howls and blasts you all towards the corridor that you came from. Everybody make a dex roll, please.
I shut that window. I knew that would be a thing.
Window's upstairs, but
Yeah,
also...
well,
I'm going to spend 8 luck to make that a success.
Yep.
what are we rolling against? Sorry.
Dexterity.
Dexterity,
Yeah,
sorry.
Success?
Yeah.
An extreme success.
An extreme success, very good.
Just
A success? How did you go?
Success.
A success. Everybody made a success. So I'm going to say you've approached. You're over here by right next to it. The gust of wind blasts all of you back to about here. All of you are now prone, with the exception of Detective Montague with his extreme success, who's managed to plant his feet as he's been blown back.
I have just caught the Ballarat Ghost. You can't stop me.
As you collect yourselves, the fog in the room is drawn in and it rises, forming slowly into a flowing white dress. Desiccated, clawed, long fingers and a decayed, ghoulish face sporting deep, empty eye sockets. All of you make a sanity roll with advantage only because you succeeded all of your power rolls while encountering Diaphragm.
Uh-oh.
Did you take a bonus roll?
Uh-oh.
You roll that one again, not that. Actually, it would have been the same. It's the same thing.
Well, I
Literally
got
the
the
same
9 again anyway,
Yep,
so
yep.
it's quite
Hard
high.
success.
Regular success.
2, I think, is good.
This is really, really
That's
good.
an extreme success.
All of you take 1 sanity damage except for you. You take 1d10 of sanity damage.
Ow.
You're fine. You take 1. 5?
5.
You take 5 points of sanity damage. At 5 points in one roll, you will have a very short psychic break. This psychic break is related to the promise made that if you take a bone, your dear, beloved Annie Beale may be returned to you. And I will let you decide what to do with that as we enter an initiative order.
So it's normal then?
Yes, sure. Now, Deafrith has risen in front of her coffin. You know what must be done. The coffin lid must be closed. The wind continues to howl, buffeting you as you stand up. So you do manage to all stand. And Deafrith, as this unearthly wind continues to buffet you, the now risen Deafrith's taloned hands stretch out as though conduits to the blast. All of you made your power check except for you. You freeze for 1 round. Everybody else, what would you like to do?
I am Deafrith.
Make a disguise check with a penalty die, and it's a hard check, so you need a hard success.
So sorry. I'm going to use some. You know what? I've got a lot of luck here. I've got 70 luck. Let's smash it out so it's a hard success.
All right. So you've made a. I shouldn't have told you could do that.
I'll just cross out 1 to 46.
You make that hard success, and you manage to surprise her and confuse. She doesn't believe you, but you confuse her with your utter showmanship level of confidence that she, in fact, will not attack this round.
While
Well
she's doing
done.
that, can I run and close the coffin?
You can attempt to run and close the coffin. However, you must make a strength check to fight the buffeting wind that blows you back.
No.
Where was the wind?
You manage to move to about here. You still have. You've moved about 1/3 of the way to the coffin.
Okay.
I see what Montague's trying to do, and I'll also try and make my way to the coffin.
Make your
bracing
strength
the
check.
wind. That's a 44 for a success.
For a success, you managed to get this one a little bit closer, but still not quite there. You did have to stand up as well, so you're only a little bit further in front of Montague.
Where is Deafrith?
She is. I'm so
As
sorry.
I saw
We
you
have
had
a
the model
miniature.
there.
I forgot to use it. A little miniature for Deafrith. She's right here in front of the coffin.
Oh, no.
Indeed. Your move.
Oh no,
You don't get to move, you're frozen. It is now Deafrith's turn. The wind continues to buffet all of you as several of you attempt to inch closer. You are attempting to convince Deafrith that you are Deafrith. And Deafrith suddenly looks at who has the lowest luck.
It would be me.
What's your luck score?
Well, it was really high, but I just smashed out 46 of them.
So what are you down to?
So that would now make it.
What's yours?
Somebody take
14.
46 quickly.
Oh, it's absolutely
It's-
the doctor.
Yeah.
Great.
24.
So
That would be
her hair, it sort of starts rising around, and then quick as a flash whips towards you. You may make a dodge roll.
Yes, please. 22 is a success.
But not a hard success. So she hits you.
It is if I
Too
spend...
late.
No.
Too late. She's got to do some damage. Now she is going to do, with this hair swipe, she does 5 points of damage as the hair
half
wraps
of my
around.
health.
Is it fully? Wait, is your health 11?
Yes, it's nearly half
Nearly.
of my health.
Very important distinction, because if that was half of your health, you would now be unconscious. But you are still conscious
Oh my goodness.
as this hair has whipped you. Whoosh! And
What you with her hair?
She did.
Wow.
It was
that is
a lot.
Deafrith's move as the wind continues to buffet against you.
Where is the wind coming from?
I will continue to charge towards the coffin.
Make a
From
strength
the
check to
ether.
fight the wind.
Yes, I shall use some luck to make that a
Very well.
success.
So, with a success, you manage to get just adjacent to Deafrith herself, but not quite within reach to grab the lid of the coffin. Perhaps in a moment you would be able to, but not just at this
I'm
time.
sort of forcefully walking towards her. I'd like to go,
Right in the gale.
please cease and desist, madam. That is technically assault. I don't care which plane you come from, but here, that is illegal. Jolly good.
Good doctor.
I would like to, again, battle against the wind, reeling from being whipped really, really bad with some hair. Oh, that's a fail.
A fail. You try very hard to fight against the wind, but you only manage to take a few short steps towards this coffin as Deafrith's wind continues to buffet against you. Now it is your turn.
Mr. Curtis is going to pull out his Ouija board and try and speak with Annie. What's going on around here?
Make an occult roll with a bonus die.
59 or 59.
Is that underneath your occult?
It will be. For occult, absolutely. Yeah, that's a success.
I love.
Oh, Annie. It's a Ouija board, not a conversation. But,
No, it doesn't matter. You're
Okay.
hearing it in your mind.
Oh my god, incredible!
James.
Finally!
James.
After all of these
James,
years,
you have
Annie!
to protect the bones, James. You have to protect the bones, James.
I will.
Protect the bones and I'll come back to you, James.
I'll do that very
Protect
thing.
the bones. I love you, James.
I love you,
I'm
Annie.
sorry I died over in England when you were in
I'm
Australia.
also sorry you died.
It was very sad.
I've become quite successful since your passing, though, but still very, very sorry.
Outstanding. And now, Ms. Baldwin, it is your turn.
Right.
You're way back here.
I know. Where is the wind coming from? It's coming from her body?
From here, so it's going this way.
I want to... Is there anything I can hold on to make my way up the wall?
Yeah, sure. I will say make a strength roll with a bonus die as you're using any handholds along the wall. Any little pieces in there.
This
So you
one's
re-roll that
bonus?
one, that's the one.
Yep. Oh,
The exact same result, which is a fail. So you do not manage to move very far. You do manage to get to about here.
Okay.
And now it is Deerfrith's turn again. Deerfrith's spectral form looks stronger, more solid, more real. You all know now that you have mere moments left to contain her power, or all will be lost. And right next to Deerfrith is our dear detective.
This can't
She
possibly
looks at
go
you
wrong.
and howls a horrible sound, and she pulls her hands in front of you with long clawed fingers, and she swipes at you.
Pretty sure that's possessive of an offensive weapon and causing a public nuisance or disturbance.
Would you like to fight back or dodge?
I shall dodge.
Make a dodge roll. Make it a really, 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 really good one.
It was a really, 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 really good one.
Was it an
with
extreme success?
Yes, it was.
Oh, wow.
What'd you roll?
Wow.
A 3.
If you spend 3 points of luck,
That'll matter.
I shall spend 3 points of luck. Something deep down I feel I should spend those 3 points
these
of luck.
claws, with that specific luck,
Oh, my goodness.
these claws slash at you, and despite her realness, pass straight through your body. Almost as though this was somehow fated to be. It is now
I
your
caught the
turn.
Ballarat Ghost, you know.
It is your turn, detective.
I shall continue and try and close the lid, if I
That is
can.
another strength check. No disadvantage this time because you're not fighting the wind for it.
I shall use 2 luck to get a success.
Very well. You reach forth. You reach up. You grasp the lid of the coffin with all of your strength. You wrench the coffin down, and it slams shut with a final and definitive thud. That was beautiful, thank you. As you slam shut the ancient iron lid, the crypt falls silent. The image of Deerfrith dissipates and fades away immediately. And the fog that was only now grasping at your ankles clears out entirely. It's over.
Annie! No!
Deerfrith is contained.
2 ghosts in one night.
How
I
would you
smell
like to handle
promotion.
this little moment? As you're in the crypt, your mind is slowly returning to you with the disappearance of Deerfrith. All you can hear is the sweet voice of your beloved Annie, fading away.
I think just some general chit-chat with my companions. I
Can
can't
I-
believe you took from me, Detective, a chance to be reunited with my one true love.
I'm sorry, but think of the dangers the ghost posed to the rest of the Ballarat. And feeling rather smug, may I roll for moustache?
Roll for moustache. If anyone hasn't seen a picture of Thomas Montague, he has the most fantastic moustache.
That's an 18 on the dice for moustache.
Very, very well moustache. Hang on, I can actually do this. Hold on.
There we are, thank you.
I'll do it in your stead.
Yeah.
As you ascend again from the crypt, you remember poor Father John Collins. He was a good man. He looked after the people of Ballarat, and he's gone now. but not gone in vain, because he managed to get these 4 fated adventurers together to solve the mystery of the Ballarat Ghost and to solve the mystery of the fog that has been plaguing Ballarat. As you reach the street level again and you look outside, it's been a long night. The sunrise isn't far again now. You can't help but wonder to yourselves, would anyone else ever know the truth behind the mystery of the Ballarat Ghost and the fog that plagued the city? Maybe we'll find out next time.
Oh, I forgot to put the lock on the coffin.
Not necessary. The coffin's closed. The lock was broken anyway.
Yeah.
The coffin just had to close. Well done, everybody. You have saved the Ballarat once again from the machinations of Nyarlathotep. Thank you so much to our players. Thank you very much to Bruce Waldron playing some wonderful musical accompaniment. Now we are going to close out with one more beautiful song before we finish up. Thank you, everyone, and then we'll have a bit of time to have a bit of a chat with you and do some thanks. Thank you.
So stay seated and I'll get the
That was really fun. That was
Thank
really
you,
good
Sean.
time. And we finished at 15:15. We had to.
I'll tell you the terrible tales. My IQ will quiver and quail. A convict was I, for naught but to die. But as God is my witness, my story is true. I was murdered right here in the hero of Waterloo. A feeling come on me, I die. Just as sure as my name's Richard High. A feeling of doom for me out of the room. As the footsteps grew closer, I suddenly knew I'd be murdered right here in the heroes of Waterloo. If you're drinking in a bar late at night, and the mirror's right there in your sight, you may see me stare if you're looking right there. My miserable eyes will chill you right through. I was murdered right here in the hero of Waterloo. In the hero of Waterloo.
Right, so yeah, thanks everyone. Something you might be interested to know, that Patrick McLennan was indeed arrested as the Ballarat Ghost and served a year in the old Ballarat jail. He's described in the petty criminal records as a rogue and vagabond of the worst order. And he was indeed caught by having young constables dressed as ladies of the night on Mare Street and around the train station. And upon seizing him, they went to his home on Drummond Street, where they found paraphernalia including a long white frock coat, a white top hat, a white paper mache mask, which was hideous, and a bodysuit soaked in phosphorus green paint. And of course, he had his cat and nine tails, which he used to assault people as he ran around the town. So ended the tale of the Ballarat Ghost. With circumstances perhaps a little different to what we saw tonight.
Exactly the same.
Yeah. 100%.
Can't write this stuff.
Lovely.
Yeah, I just want to give my thanks to our wonderful, let's hear it again for our wonderful music. Thank you so much.
And
Thank you very much for this beautiful
Thank you.
performance. Thanks.
for our wonderful players, we have vouchers for $100 from Guff Games as a thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
Oh, thank
I also want to say thank you to the City of Ballarat for letting us use the trench room, and also we stand in solidarity with you right now while you are trying to get a fair wage. So for the City of Ballarat, we'll pop that there.
And of course, we'd like to thank Good Games for their wonderful miniatures made of each of our players tonight, which are beautifully painted. Come and have a look at them later. I believe Emma at Good Games did the painting, which is fantastic work she's done. I have others I will paint, but I'm not that good.
You all saw it. Check the Facebook page, there'll be pictures of that.
And of course, I'd like to thank Chaosium for making the amazing game Call of Cthulhu, and also supporting people like Cat Player and myself to create our own adventures, situated in our own histories and stories. And of course, thank you so much. And of course, thanks to Ballarat Library for making this all possible and dealing with a lot of the funding and all the IT stuff and all the rest of it, which is, so thanks so much.
And thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you.
Just a quick shout out to our wonderful stage manager, Bethany.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
This also for you. We threw her basically in the deep end at the very last minute. And, I told her what the rules were and not to let anyone push her around, and then I tried to push her around, and she came down hard on me. And I was like, not I, and she went, yes, you. So she did a really good job. One last shout out. If you're interested in history and you want to learn more, Tales from Rat City have actually,
It's good to pick this up.
which is all of us really,
No,
we're
it's very
involved in
unorthodox.
podcasts. So
Someone
we've,
designed the
David's
poster with it at the
written
bottom
these
where you can't see it,
amazing
so-
stories, and we have translated those with the help of actors. Our first ones were a bit sketchy, but we got really good.
And then they got me on board, and then it was awesome.
We kept it like once, and then we were like, now we've nailed it. So lovely.
We did win the Victorian commendation for the Victorian Community History Awards this year for our podcast, so yes. And of course, for last year's game, William Bailey Haunted Mansion, which you can actually, you can buy on Drive-Thru RPG if you're interested. And with that, thank you so much, everyone. Good night, and thanks again, Bruce.
Thank you, everyone.